Now right-click the cell H5, point to the sort in the shortcut menu, and then click more sort options. The Sort by Value dialog box opens. As you select options in the dialog box, the summary information at the bottom of the dialog box changes to describe the sort results using your field names. Click the largest to smallest option button to select it in the Sort Options section. Make sure the top to bottom option button is selected in the Sort Direction section. Review the sort description in the Summary section of the dialog box, and then click OK. The branches appear in the pivot table in decreasing order of the total sales from top to bottom. You want to easily display the sales for specific product IDs at certain branches. Now click any cell in the pivot table, click the Pivot Table Tools Design tab, Analyze tab if necessary, and then click Insert Slicer button in the filter group. Click now the Product ID checkbox and the Branch checkbox. In the Insert Slicers dialog box, to select both fields, then click OK and then drag the slices to the right of the pivot table. Slicers appear with buttons representing the number of product and branch name. You want to filter the data to show only product IDs 110 and 510 in the New York and Chicago branches. So now click the 110 button in the product ID slicer, and then press Ctrl and then click the 510 button in the product slicer ID again. Now release Ctrl and then click the New York button in the branch slicer. Now press Ctrl again and click Chicago button in the branch slicer and then release Ctrl. The pivot table displays only the data for products IDs 110 and 510 in New York and Chicago. In the slicers, the filter symbol changes, indicating the pivot table is filtering to display the selected fields. You decide to clear the filter and remove the slicers. Now click a Clear Filter button in the Product ID slicer, and then click the Clear Filter button in the Branch Slicer too. Now click the top of the branch slicer, press Ctrl and then right click the product ID too, and then right click the product ID slicer and then click the Remove Slicers button on the shortcut menu. Now you want to display the pivot table data by quarter using a report filter. In the pivot table fields list, click the quarter field list arrow in the rows area. Quarter field list arrow in the rows area and then select Move to Report Filter. The quarter field moves to cell A1 and the list arrow and the word All appear in the cell B1. The list arrow lets you filter the data in the pivot table by quarter. All indicates that the pivot table currently shows data for all the quarters. You decide to filter the data to show only data for the fourth quarter. In the pivot table, cell B1, click the quarter list arrow. And then click 4. And then click OK and then save your work. The pivot table filters the sales data to display the fourth quarter only. The quarter field list arrow changes to a filter symbol. A filter symbol also appears to the right of the quarter field in the pivot table. This indicates that the pivot table is filtered and summarizes only a portion of the pivot table's data.